Yeah, I think I like it.
I say, I'm the ballerina man.
Oh, I don't need to see that. Thanks.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and there was an interesting conversation yesterday happening on Twitter between Candace Owens, Frodo, Elijah Wood, Harry Styles, and Ben Shapiro. It was the crossover no one asked for, but it provided lots of laughs. The conversation, of course, was around Harry Styles wearing a dress and whether or not that was masculine. Well, let me be first and foremost up front and say you can wear whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable. It doesn't bother anybody. It doesn't negatively affect anybody. It doesn't hurt anybody. So you should be able to do so, of course. However, it is not masculine. It never was, never will be. Now, if you want to talk about a kilt, okay, exceptions will be made for traditional garb. Many cultures have some form of what we may refer to as a dress. That obviously is excluded. What the far left Hollywood worshiping sections of Twitter want to use as an example are people like Kurt Cobain or Dennis Rodman, who also wore dresses, but they are seen as peak masculinity. Well, I don't know that either one of them was seen as peak masculinity, but on top of that, see, there's a certain amount of money one can accumulate in which they can do anything and be unaffected by it. So when regular coal miner Joe goes into the pub after a long day in the coal mines wearing a dress, let me know. This isn't about public perception. This is about, again, the continued attack on masculinity. This is just another form of toxic masculinity. Look, Harry Styles isn't hurting anybody by wearing a dress, but let's not pretend that the dude, that a dude being worth $100 million might have something to do with whether or not people think it's masculine. Of course, Ben Shapiro weighed in on that, and Twitter spent the day, in their opinions, dunking on him. Ben Shapiro says real men don't wear dresses. History begs to differ, and so does Harry Styles. Professional heartthrob Harry Styles rocked several stylish ensembles during a recent Vogue cover shoot. Among them were a tartan skirt, a lacy ball gown, and a tulle hoop skirt that looks like it was ripped off my grandmother's wedding dress. Some readers likely experienced surprise while leafing through the spread. After all, it's rare to see men pictured in stereotypical female clothing, especially in the pages of high fashion magazines. Most manage to overcome their astonishment, don the garments in which they feel most comfortable with, and go on with their days. Not so for Ben Shapiro, who immediately took to Twitter, warning the public about grave cultural threats posed by men in dresses. Quote, anyone who pretends that it is not a referendum on masculinity for men to don floofy dresses are treating yourself as a full-on idiot, he tweeted. Again, this is the gaslighting of the far left that we see all the time. I see it all the time too. Look, I make 7 to 10 videos a day. And oftentimes, if I make a video on a topic that I'm not allowed to, apparently, people will say I'm having a meltdown. Look, Ben Shapiro, it's his career to weigh in on things. The fact that he weighed in on Harry Styles wearing a dress is no different than him weighing in on anything else. He is a commentator. This is his job. There are plenty of good answers to Shapiro's claim that gendered fashions reflect fluctuating social norms rather than biological reality. That women in pantsuits, once considered a bizarre sight, now grace magazine covers all the time. That treating floofy dresses as signs of weakness and moral degradation is more than anything else a reflection of one's attitudes about women. See, I disagree. You could see, terrified for Ben Shapiro to find out my 1-year-old son put on my bracelet in said fancy. Bless Caleb said. But the simplest refutation of this tweet is plain fact that for most of history, all men wore dresses. Julius Caesar wore an airy toga. And quest to divide Gaul in 3 parts. Henry VIII, terrorizing his wives while clad in bedazzled doublets. Louis XIV, you'd better believe that the bad boy was sporting some exquisite hosiery as he ruthlessly crushed all political opposition. Well, that is, without a doubt, true. These people did wear ridiculous clothing, but this was also 500 years ago. The idea that Harry Styles wearing a dress is simply just he's ahead of his time is absurd. These men wore these clothes during these times because that's what everyone wore. He's not a Harry Styles is not a leader in fashion. Men across the world are not going to be wearing ball gowns, no matter how you try to make this happen. Remember when they tried to make the men onesie a thing? Remember that? These people always, not these people, a certain group of people often go after masculinity, and they use putting men in dresses as a platform for that. I doubt Harry Styles feels most comfortable in a prom dress. He wore it to start a conversation, and that's exactly what he did. Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro mostly discusses politics, but sometimes he ventures into entertainment. Most famously, in recent days, he was taken aback by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP. A video of him reciting song lyrics went viral. Now he's focused his attention on Harry Styles. Well, let me be very clear. Listening to music like WAP from Cardi B is a primary reason teen pregnancy rate is so high, and it's also a primary reason teen pregnancy rate is so high in the inner city. Make no mistake about it, that conflating your womanly rights and freedom to hooking up with people as a thing of power has a negative effect on society. Now, Cardi B is not responsible for what people do, but the music industry continuing to worship this kind of garbage lyrics has an effect on society. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm saying that 13-year-old girls consuming this content, it has an effect on them, and it's not a good one. Now, Styles and Candace Owens went viral today after Owens criticized Styles' recent dress-filled photo shoot. Owens tweeted, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It is an outright attack. Bring back manly men." Shapiro showed support for Owens in perspective, tweeting that morning, This is perfectly obvious. Anyone who pretends that it is not a full-on referendum on masculinity for men to don floofy dresses is treating you as a full-on idiot." Now, again, does Harry Styles wearing a dress negatively affect me in any way? Nope. Count Dankula, himself a good friend of mine, would tell you that more men need to be wearing dresses. But the thing is, the kind of men in dresses Dank likes don't exactly wear a full beard on their face while doing it. Meanwhile, Owens has expanded upon original comments. Fellow conservative commentator Mitt Walsh tweeted, "Candace Owens is trending because a bunch of whiny idiots are mad that she said men who wear dresses aren't manly. Her statement, of course, is true, utterly self-evident, and would have provoked no reaction as recently as a decade ago." Owens shared the tweet and responded, "Wait until they find out. I also think women should be feminine. And I also enjoy cooking and taking care of my husband." DEFCON 1. Look, the search for TradCon women is on. I like my wife to be traditional. I don't say she has to be traditional, but I would prefer she'd take care of the home and keep things in order here. But I support her. She has a college degree in chemistry and uses it every day at work, and that's okay. It doesn't make her any less of a woman to go and have a career, the same way it doesn't make a woman any less who prefers to stay at home and be a homemaker. This is a lost job. Moms are an important role in raising children and keeping family units together, and both are valid decisions for females to have. The idea that this, Harry Styles in a dress wasn't a direct attack on masculinity is absurd. Of course it was. But you don't have to listen to it. I don't expect to see any men here in the Midwest wearing dresses to the pub for Dart League. This is just Hollywood celebrities doing exactly what they do, wanting attention. Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens eviscerated after whining that Harry Styles is in a gorgeous gown is an outright attack on society. Again, these people are both political commentators or commentators sharing their opinions. I wouldn't exactly call what Candace Owens said a meltdown. I don't exactly call what Ben Shapiro said a meltdown. Now, people are free to disagree. I, for one, if one of my friends wanted to wear a dress to the pub, that's their right. Cool. I'm going to make fun of you. But, you know, if you want to wear a dress, you go right ahead. It's not hurting me. Harry Styles isn't hurting me. But to act like the worship of this from places like Vogue magazine and far leftists on Twitter isn't a veiled swipe at masculinity is also absurd. Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, two American conservative commentators with plenty of time on their hands, these days took aim at Harry. What is that even supposed to mean? Took aim at Harry Styles' Vogue magazine cover shoot, and it's safe to say it backfired tremendously. No, I don't think that it did. I think that this is just Twitter. We know that Twitter leans extremely far left. And if we actually look at the tweet, I wouldn't say that it backfired. And you had, obviously, Elijah Wood coming in here. I think you've missed the definition of what a man is. Masculinity alone does not make a man. Yeah, it kind of does. And you could see Elijah Wood here. I'm constantly having to explain to people that Samwise Gamgee and Paddington Bear are the purest examples of masculinity that we have. In fact, it's got nothing to do with it, says Elijah Wood. Masculinity. No, it actually has a ton to do with it. Celebrity opinions should be found in the trash. That's exactly what it is. And look, Candace Owens isn't appealing to the far left here. She's signaling to her own followers who also agree that men in dresses are ridiculous. You see 48,000 likes compared to 2,000 comments. What about that is a own? These people are living in an alternate reality. 55,000 likes to 5,000 comments. Absolute win for Candace Owens. Since I'm trending, I like to clarify what I mean when I said bring back manly men. I meant bring back manly men. Terms like toxic masculinity were created by toxic females. Real women don't fake feminism. Sorry, I'm not sorry. 170,000 likes to just 9,000 comments. These people are living in a bizarre alternate reality where they think they won this. I mean, are you joking? I mean, she completely won this. Now, Candace Owens' initial tweet with 43,000 comments to 100,000 likes, you might argue, is pretty close to a ratio. But in the follow-up, there's absolutely no reason to say that Candace Owens, this wasn't a win. And I bet you if I look at her social blade, she gained a bunch of followers. I'd be willing to bet. Let's just take a look. And, of course, Harry Styles won because people are talking about, I don't even know who he is. Some sort of, okay, let's see. Tuesday, today, she gained 14,000 followers on Twitter. That's more than any other day in the following weeks, or in the past few weeks. So who exactly lost here? How about Ben Shapiro? Did he get totally roasted? Looks like he gained 7,000 followers outside of this Thursday where he gained 50,000 for some insane reason. He also had a massive above average day. You want to wear a dress? That's cool. Just don't pretend like it's masculine. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.